Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really embarking on a mission, you could say. We want to unpack the career of one of baseball's most, well, electrifying figures. Dominant, certainly, but also controversial at times.
Absolutely. We're talking about the Cobra, Dave Parker.
That's him, a genuine five-tool monster. I mean, the swing like a whip, the arm like a cannon. That nickname alone, the Cobra, it just terrified pitchers.
And what's amazing is he was all that hitting, power, speed, fielding, throwing way before we had all the modern analytics to, break everything down. He just was it.
Exactly. So his journey, it's quite the ride, isn't it?
Oh, it's a total roller coaster. We'll look at everything. His start, coming up with that legendary big red machine in Cincinnati.
Right.
Then the World Series wins, that absolutely groundbreaking contract that honestly changed baseball finances forever.
Yeah, we have to talk about that.
We will. And of course, the tough stuff, too. The injuries, the Pittsburgh drug trials.
A really difficult job.
Yeah. But then also his comeback, that late career resurgence that maybe doesn't get enough attention. And ultimately, that lingering question, should he be in the Hall of Fame?
Okay, so let's start at the beginning then. Dave Parker, born June 9, 1951, down in Calhoun County, Mississippi.
Right. But the family moved up to Cincinnati when he was young. And even back then, it was, well, pretty obvious he was something special athletically.
Just a natural.
A freak athlete, really. At Quarter Tech High School, he was a star in 3 sports: football, basketball, and baseball.
3 sports? Wow.
Yeah, and get this, he was apparently an amazing running back, good enough to get college scholarship offers for football.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Football scholarships?
Yep. But baseball, that was always his first love. That's where he saw his future.
And his hometown team, the Reds, they saw it too. Drafted him in the 14th round back in 1970.
Which seems low now, maybe, but yeah. He spent the next 3 years in the minors, really honing his game, putting it all together.
Until he got the call-up.
Late in the 73 season, made his debut July 12th. Didn't play a ton that first year, just 54 games, hit .288.
But you could see it.
Oh, yeah. The potential was just immense. You saw the flashes, the power, that arm. It was all there.
But arriving with the Reds then, I mean, that wasn't just any debut. He walks into this clubhouse, the Big Red Machine.
Exactly. You've got Johnny Bench, Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, Tony Perez, future Hall of Famers everywhere you look.
So how does a young guy, even a talented one like Parker, find his footing? How does he make an impact on a team that's stacked, that experienced?
Well, that's a testament to him, right? His confidence, maybe his adaptability. He wasn't trying to be Bench or Rose. He brought his own thing. That power, the defense, it actually complemented what they already had.
So he carved out his own space.
He really did. By 1975, he's the starting right fielder, and he delivers. Hits .308, 25 homers, 101 RBIs. He sort of completed that outfield.
And helped them win back-to-back World Series, 75 and 76.
Absolutely crucial part of those teams.
Then 77, he takes another step up, hits .338, 21 homers, 88 RBIs, finishes second in the MVP voting.
He's really establishing himself as elite.
But 1978, that wasn't just elite. That was, a whole other level, a masterpiece season. He wins the MVP. But what made him, as people said, the most feared hitter in baseball that year? Was it just the numbers?
It was more than just the numbers, though the numbers were incredible. Batting title at .334, led the league in slugging at .585, NL MVP.
Dominant stats.
Completely. But it was also kind of the psychological edge. Pitchers just didn't know what to do. You couldn't really pitch around him effectively, but if you challenged him...
He'd make you pay.
Exactly. He had the bat speed, the power to all fields, plus just his presence in the box, kind of menacing. It created this aura.
And you can't forget the defense. That arm was something else.
Oh, legendary. In 77 alone, he had 17 outfield assists. That's incredible. People compared him to like a right-handed Vlad Guerrero, just elite tools everywhere.
And speaking of that arm, you have to talk about the 79 All-Star game.
Oh, that performance, yeah.
It's just iconic. He makes 2 throws in that game, throws out runners at the plate twice.
From deep right field, absolute rocket.
Can you imagine being the runner rounding third? Seeing him unleash?
No chance. Many people still say that's maybe the greatest all-star performance ever by an outfielder. Just showed everything he could do.
So his performance is undeniable. But his next big move, that wasn't just on the field, it sent shockwaves, really, through the whole sport.
You're talking about the contract after that MVP season.
Yep, he signs with the Pirates. 5 years, $5 million,
Yeah.
becomes the highest paid player in baseball history.
And that sounds like a fair bit even now, but back then,
How big was that deal, really, in context?
I mean, just for inflation, you're talking something like a $25 million a year deal today. It was massive.
Wow.
And it wasn't just the amount, it fundamentally changed things. Before Parker, these huge, long-term, multi-million-dollar deals, they were pretty much unheard of. Often teams held all the leverage.
So this was different.
Completely different. His agent, Tom Reich, negotiated this deal that just smashed the existing salary ceilings. It gave players real leverage. It didn't just, like, set the stage for future deals. It blew the doors wide open.
Paving the way for guys like Nolan Ryan, Reggie Jackson.
Exactly. They could then command similar deals, even bigger ones. It totally shifted the financial landscape, the power balance between players and owners. Teams had to rethink everything about keeping their stars.
But with that kind of money, especially back then, came a lot of noise.
Oh, yeah. Huge backlash. People called him greedy, all sorts of criticism, even though he'd clearly earned it on the field and was just setting a new market value.
But he kept playing well through it.
Yep. Helped the Pirates win the World Series in 1979 right after signing the deal. So he delivered.
But that intensity, that hard-nosed style that made him great, it started catching up to him, didn't it?
It did. That fearless way he played, always going all out, it led to some serious injuries.
I remember the collision at the plate in '78.
Yeah, broke his cheekbone. Just brutal. Then in '79, another crash at home plate. This time, a really bad knee injury.
And you saw it in the numbers afterwards.
You did? Early '80s, his production dipped. I mean, he was still a good player, don't get me wrong, but not quite that dominant MVP-level Dave Parker.
And then came, well, maybe the darkest chapter. For him and for baseball.
Yeah, the 1985 Pittsburgh drug trials, that just rocked the sport.
And Parker was involved?
He was. He, along with several other prominent players, admitted to using cocaine, including during his time playing. He later said it definitely affected his performance in those early '80s years.
It was a huge scandal. Must have hit his reputation hard.
Immensely. Fans, media, the perception shifted. This guy who was once on top of the world, now seen as maybe having lost his edge due to off-field issues on top of the injury.
I feel like maybe his best days were definitely behind him.
That was the narrative for sure.
It's somehow.
Yeah.
He stages this incredible comeback. Almost unbelievable, really.
It really is one of the more remarkable turnarounds. After he left Pittsburgh, he played for Cincinnati again, then Oakland.
That found another gear.
He did, a late career revival. Helped the A's win the World Series in '89. He was 38 years old then.
38 and winning a ring. That's impressive.
And get this, back in 1985, playing for the Reds after leaving Pittsburgh and after all the controversy, he finished third in the MVP voting.
No way. In '85?
Yep. Third place for a guy many people had completely written off. It just shows incredible resilience, mental toughness to come back and perform at that level after everything.
So summing it all up, Dave Parker's career. Definitely a roller coaster, like you said. Immense talent, changed the game financially, faced major injuries, significant personal struggles.
But through it all, that talent, just undeniable. Look at the final numbers.
2,712 hits, 339 homers, almost 1,500 RBIs, 1,493. A .290 career batting average.
And the hardware. 7-time All-Star, 3 Gold Gloves, 2 batting titles, 2 World Series rings. It's a serious resume.
Which brings us back to that question. The Hall of Fame, what's the case for him?
The case for his is that peak. His peak was absolutely elite. MVP, batting champ, Gold Glover, maybe the best outfield arm ever. For a stretch there in the late '70s, he was the definition of a five-tool player, arguably the best player in the game.
Okay. And the case against. Why isn't he in?
Usually boils down to 2 things. The injuries, which maybe shortened that peak dominance, and of course the drug trials casting a shadow. Did those things prevent him from accumulating the sort of career totals that guarantee induction for some? Maybe.
It's interesting, people often bring up the Kirby-Puckett comparison.
Right. Puckett had a similarly dominant peak, maybe shorter overall, due to his own health issues forcing retirement, and he's in Cooperstown. So the argument goes, if Puckett's in, Parker's numbers and peak impact should put him in too.
It's a complex legacy to evaluate.
It really is. Which kind of leads to the final thought for you, the listener. When you look at Dave Parker's whole story, the undeniable talent, the huge impact he had, but also the injuries, the controversies, the comeback, what stands out most to you?
Where do you think he belongs in baseball history?
Yeah. Does his saga tell us something more, maybe, about the human side of sports, beyond just the stats and the wins? Something to think about.